G'day Fisho, Sammy here, and we're out on a glorious day today and we're talking about soft plastic retrieves. Now, there is literally no hard and fast rule about retrieves. There's hundreds and hundreds you can choose from. Make them up as you go. You never know what's going to work on the day, but I'm going to give you some basics just to give you a starting point so then you know you can go out there, confidently use that retrieve, then start changing it up when you're out there on the water. So I've got three different types of plastics. I've got this little prawn imitation here. I've got a curl tail, and I've got a little jerk shad style. Now, the only one I'd say we're missing would be a big paddle tail, which you'd fish very similar to a prawn. Now, retrieves, very simple. Prawns, and you try and imitate the natural version of your bait. So a prawn in the water doesn't do that much. They kind of glide around. When they get spooked, they flick out of the way. So if I was going to be fishing a prawn soft plastic, I'll be doing a lot of letting it slink, like weight it up nicely so it sinks nice and slowly, let it sink down. And that would be the majority of my retrieve, just letting it sink nice and slow. Now, once I get to the bottom, I'd give it a few short, sharp flicks to imitate that flicking tail as they're in distress. Then once again, I'd just be feathering it down, letting it slowly sink. Now, I'd continue that retrieve all the way back to the boat. I'd say that would be, you know, that's a good imitation of what a prawn does, and the fish are going to see that, see him gliding down, come over and hit it. Now, similarly with a curl tail, curl tails I like to fish nice and slow as well. You've got the action of that tail curling around, so I'd be more tempted to chuck it out. So let's pretend this prawn now is a curl tail. I'll be chucking it out. Same thing, nice long slow drop. That curl tail is going to be working all the way down. The fish are going to see it come and collect it on the drop. Now, once I do get to the bottom, because that curl tail does a lot of the work, I'll just be doing little shakes. So small movements while winding the handle, and that's just going to make that plastic do this up through the water column. That tail's going to be working, and then just let it slowly drop back down, and do that for the duration of your retrieve. Now, obviously with these you can chop and change and add in bits that you like depending on what the fish are doing on the day, but this is just a general basic rule of what to do. Now, our next plastic would be the jerk shad style. They're long, thin, they've got a slender profile, nice whippy tail. Now, I like to fish these quite aggressively. Now, again, pretend this prawn is a jerk shad. I'll be letting it sink down. Then once it gets to the bottom, I'd be giving it probably 2 or 3 good, hard, sharp flicks, like so. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Letting it sink down. Hit the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to get that jerk shad really just whipping up off the bottom. It's going to create a reaction bite. Those fish are going to see it fleeing and go, oh, I want a piece of that. Or it's going to stir them up. They're going to be there sitting dormant on the bottom. It's going to stir them up, be in their face, and they're going to come and attack it out of sheer aggression, even if they aren't hungry. Now, you can also use that jerk shad for pelagics. You can just let it sink down and crank it up as fast as you can, or really jig it hard like you would a big metal jig. Depending on what you're chasing, that's also a very effective retrieve at times, especially on pelagic fish like your trevally, kingfish, and those sorts of things. Now, with those big paddle tails, I'd be fishing them, like I said, very similar to the prawn. Let that paddle tail do all the work for you. You just want to lift it up off the bottom and let it sink down. That paddle tail is going to be waving around, going crazy. Fish are going to see it come hit it either on the drop or while it's sitting stationary on the bottom. But same thing, you can move them pretty quick if you do want to get some speed and really introduce some speed, or whip them hard off the bottom to create some disturbance. But as a general rule, I like to fish them nice and slow, keep them in the fish's face, and leave the fast stuff for the jerk shads. That's just a quick overview, guys, on how I retrieve my soft plastics and what I do. Obviously, use that as a building block. You can change it up, you can add to it, you can subtract from it, you can do anything you want. Let your imagination be the governing factor. But hope it catches you a few fish, guys, and gives you a good idea of where to start when you're out in the water. Righto, guys, catch you later. I'm gonna have a few casts myself. See ya.